So this is Brochas, Daf Tes Amud Beis.
Tes Amud Beis, yeah.
Tes Amud Beis. Right before the Mishnah.
Yeah, it says Iyun. Right? So first of all, he didn't answer Moshe Rabbeinu's question, what's your name? Right? He didn't answer their question, did he? Well, just looking at something wrong. He never answered the question, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he asked him, what's your name, right? And the Moshe told him, Iyun she'Iyun. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the name, no?
What kind of name is Iyun? I will be. I will be is a action. It's just, it's a, you know, it's a statement of being. You know what I'm saying? So how do you deal with that? You never answered the question, right? What was the question? Ma Shimcha.
Yeah.
They're going to ask you, what's his name? and right? They're going to ask you, what's his name? And, right? And the Bershom says,
That was the question?
yeah. That's the question, right? He said to him, what's his name? They're going to ask me, what's his name? So what should I tell them? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll say to me, what's his name? So what should I say to them? So the Rosham said, tell them, Iyun she'Iyun. You know what I'm saying?
The whole dialogue, which is strange. I mean, he changes it to just, okay, tell him here.
No, because that was in response to Moshe Rabbeinu saying
Right.
to him,
I mean,
well, you know, you're going to get them real nervous. That means there will be a time of tzara.
that's
You're
fun.
going to be with them then also?
I mean, it sounds
Why
funny.
tell him
It
now,
sounds funny
what?
too. It sounds funny. I mean, the whole dialogue sounds funny.
Well, the real question, what's the point of asking his name? The second thing is the Russian doesn't say what his name is. You know what I'm saying? So, that's problematic. He asked him what's his name, so the real question is, why do you want to know his name? Now, what difference does the name make?
Why to ask to begin with?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, what's the difference what the name of God is? There's God, and he's going to come in, you know. And the second question is, you know, like I say, he never really answered them. So what do you think?
I don't think we know how to learn this kind of Gemara. I mean, we just go weiter usually. that's,
Go like that.
That was clarified.
Well, what was that?
That was the question. What's his name?
Yeah.
Meaning, tell me something that I want to be sure that I can trust him. So the answer is Iyun she'Iyun. Don't worry, I'll be with you. You don't have to know my name. I'll be with you the whole time.
Although he doesn't really say it, he just says, I am that I will be as I will be. That's I will be with you all the time.
That's what he means. Iyun she'Iyun.
I don't know, is that what he means?
But probably first we have to understand the question. Why the question? What's the question? Before
Why
we
we
understand the
have-
answer, because the answer cannot be understood.
Yeah.
Without a question first.
Yeah. So that's the question. Why they want to know his name? What's that going to tell him? You know, and so on, you know. But you can think about it. There are certain ideas that you could say, you know. The simple concept is that if they ask, what's the name of the God? In a certain sense, they want to know, can he pull it off?
Can he pull off what?
Because the Bershom says that he sent me to take you out, right?
No, but he knows he's talking to Hashem. I mean, he knows he had Nevuah. I mean, he knows who he's talking to. He knows there's no question whether he can pull him out or not.
Well, that's the question. When they say, what's his name? Is he capable of taking him out of Egypt?
It's Hashem, of course he's capable. Why not?
But when they, so that's,
He wouldn't question Hashem like that. if he's capable?
Well, let's.
I mean, usually name means hashpo, right? There's a certain type of hashpo.
Yeah.
So he's saying, what kind of hashpo is it that is coming now that is going to take us out? Probably something like that. I mean, usually name associated with certain specific hashpo.
You know, if you so you can look at it several ways. There's no question that when they want to know his name, they don't want to know his name in the sense that his name is Mordechai, his name is Shmuel. I mean, so what?
Like to send regards.
Yeah, yeah. So clearly, obviously, when they say we want to know his name, they want to know something about him that's nogeya to the geula, that has some relevance to the redemption, the geula itself. So either they want to know his name. Is his name a name of din, a judge, justice, or is his name lifnim mishus adin? What they seem to want to know is what is his behavior or his actions based on.
Means do we deserve geula? We don't deserve, but
Yeah. So if it's din that they deserve to be redeemed, so they know that this is the end. But if it's lifnim mishus adin, so they know that somewhere down the line they still have to pay.
Oh, so the answer it's not chesed, it's not din, it's something else.
So, well,
It's
that's what
totally
they want to
different.
know. I mean, the fact that you're taking us out, one say, what's your name? So your name indicates your motive, or the reasons for your behavior. So if your name indicates justice, so then we know that you're coming because justice says we should leave.
We did it.
We did it. So we don't have to worry. That means you'll do it. Because even justice demands that we should be taken out. But if it's not justice, if it's chesed, or if nimishus adin, so that means we didn't pay the debt. That means that sometime in the future we're going to have to pay the debt.
It's not over yet.
So it's not over yet, so that's not good. So in a certain sense, they wanted to be reassured that they're not going to go through this again.
So the question, what's your name, really means here, what's the nature of this geula that's coming?
Correct. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not interested in his name. Who cares, So that would be the concept of what's his name. Another way you can look at it. What?
En Moshe fooled them?
Moshe who?
Moshe really fooled them at the end?
No. Why would he fool them?
Dat zegt dan and he didn't say that.
No. So that was the first. That's the first question. Why would they want to know his name? Well, what's the point? It's like is God's name A or B or C? What's the difference? The real question is, he's taking us out or not? You know what I'm saying? So they want to know that you're taking us out is based on what? And that will be reflected in the name that you tell Moshe Rabbeinu. That'll tell us. So therefore, want to know. I mean, like I said, are you taking us out because we deserve to be taken out? Or are you taking us out not because we deserve it, but because...
What did Moshe Rabbeinu tell them? You deserve or not?
Oh, so the question then is, what was the answer? Yeah. If that was the question,
What's that?
do I deserve or not?
It's not din, it's not chesed, it's something
Well,
else.
that's the question. What is I will be what I will be, You know what I'm saying?
So what's that?
So that's the question.
Yeah.
Well, if that is in fact what they really asked, how is She'eya an answer? What do you think?
I don't know how to think.
What do you think?
I mean, it seems to be that from what they explained, that Hashem is saying, I was with you in this goals, I will be with you in the other goals too. But what that means, I don't know. That seems to be just the touch.
Yeah. So the question is, how would that answer?
Yeah.
I will be with you in this goal.
How does it explain the nature of the Geula? What's that?
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Looks like Smilas Sadin.
What?
Akash Baruch Hu is telling them, just like I send you over there in Mitzrayim al Pidin, because you had to go through Mitzrayim. So I will take you out also al Pidin. Eya She'eya.
But that doesn't, it doesn't. How does that answer if the original question was, with what are we deserving to go out? So how does Eya She'eya,
What's Ehyeh Shariah? It's I am with you. What's the translation? I was with you there, and I will be with you the whole time, right?
Yeah, that's what it would mean.
So
How does that
what's
answer
the
the question? If in fact the original
I
question
mean, it's not
was,
with you really. I mean, literally. I mean, that's what that's how they touch it. But literally, it means just I will be that I will be. That's all it is.
Oh.
It doesn't say even with you. I mean, it doesn't how with you come in the picture there.
what the question is when he says that Ehyeh She'ehyeh, I will be what I will be, right? What is that an answer to really? Let's look at the other way. Forget about the question that they asked. Let's look at what God answered. So from the if that's an answer to some, so what was the original question? You know what I'm saying?
There will be other goals now. And that shows that it's just a chesed now.
The what?
There will be other goals. That shows that right now it's only a chesed. But I will take you out eventually. But right now it's only a chesed.
So therefore what?
Therefore you wanted to know if I deserve it. Right now is the redemption of deserve. That I deserve or not. The answer is no, you don't deserve it. But I will take you out eventually. One day you will deserve it. Right now you don't deserve it yet.
So what does that do for Klal Yisrael?
Not so good, but
No, it
The
doesn't
answer.
sound good. Unless we say what they're really seeking is some type of reassurance. You know, you want to take us out now, good. But for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? But how do we know that you're going to always be with us to take us out for any future sorrow?
What's mean? I mean, he's going to place in Sarah, and he's going to take out.
No, so imagine if somebody, you know, they know the Russian is in control. So the question is, you know, to me it sounds like Ehyeh She'ehyeh is a question of reassurance. Means I'll always be with you. I will, just like I'm with you here, means I'm managing it. It's under my supervision. I will always be supervising this. So it's almost like a reassurance that I will always be with you.
Means I will take you through how many galuyos you need in order to be redeemed at the end and to win over.
Yeah, in that sense, yes. In other words, I will do
I will-
not think
till the end,
I'm just
I will-
with you now, and then after this is, you know, I'll see you around.
Why would you think he's with us now only and later he won't be? I mean, what's the harm in here?
Well, maybe because if they take Smart Din, fine. So in other words, they asked them, "Are you taking us out because we deserve to be taken out, or you taking us out even though we don't deserve, but you're taking us anyway? What's the difference? If you take us out now because we deserve it, so then you're acting according to your attribute of justice, midas adin, right? Right? But that means that if we didn't deserve it, you wouldn't take us out. You see. So when the Baruch Hashem says, I will be no matter where you are, what the Baruch Hashem is saying is that whether you deserve it or not, I will always be with you to make sure that you'll get out.
But what do you mean, I will be with you? I mean, obviously he's all over. I mean,
Who?
Hashem. I mean, he's everywhere. What do you mean, I will be
No.
What's
no.
not coming out? I'm with
It's
you.
not
I'm
where
not-
he is. It's not where he is. If they want to know his name, which means that your actions to take us out are based on what? If they are based on justice, right? Then the reason why you're taking us out is because we deserve it. But if we didn't deserve it, you wouldn't take us out. That's worrisome. Because in the future, we may be in a situation and we don't deserve it, and you're not around. It was you're only responding to your need of mishpat. That's why you're taking us out. But if we didn't deserve to be taken out, then you wouldn't take us out. You see? So therefore there's something to be concerned about. Because we're going to have tsaros later on. And if we don't deserve it, that means we're finished. So Baruch Hashem says, no, I'm going to take you out. Whether it be din or not, I will always be with you. And what that means is that I will always be there for you. I will always take you out, even if you don't deserve it. I will always make sure that I will be with you to save you, even if you don't deserve it. That's It was I will be with you in this surah, I will be with you in future tsuras, just like I'm with you now. So don't worry if it's apidin or not. I'm always there for you, and I always make sure you get to the end.
I mean, it's not that he's saying I will be with you with tsaros. He says I'll give you as many tsaros as you need.
But I know the main thing is they want to be reassured that is this a one-shot deal? Where the Moshe says, hey, I'm going to take you out now. Why? Because you deserve it. But that's it. If you didn't deserve it, no way. So therefore, later on, if they ever have a tsaros, right, then they know the Moshe is not with them. Because they'll only do it if they deserve apidin. So therefore the Moshe has to reassure them and say that my taking you out, right, is because of my concern for you as my people. Whether you deserve it or not, I will always be there for you. And that was their problem. Will the Moshe be there always for us, or he won't be, only if we deserve it? So if he takes them out bidin, that's worse than if he took them out as chesed. Because if he takes them out al chesed, that means that the anhag of the Moshe is because he loves them, whether they deserve it or not. He's always going to make sure that they're okay. That's what they want to hear. So that's what his answer. So when they said, "What's your name?" Is your name a name of chesed, and therefore we'll know you'll always be with us, or is your name a name of din, which means it's a one-shot deal? We'll take you out now because you deserve it, but later on, if you don't deserve it, see you around.
So what's Moshe Rabbeinu's answer now? I mean, what's his taina? Why should I tell them about future? What does that mean?
Okay, you mean so? What's Moshe Rabbeinu's dialogue?
Yeah, what's the taina now? Why shouldn't he tell them about future? What he does he wants to hide from them that this is not final yet.
It would seem so. Yeah, it seems like
Let them think it's final.
No. They're not naive. They know there will be times later on when they need the Rosh. You know what I'm saying? But why mention it now?
No, that is final Geula. If it's without, I mean, it says I will be with you just like I'm with you now. Means goals means if just without future, then just one goals. This goals is final. No more. It's final Geula. That's what one here indicates.
Well, again, that's why you have to formulate everything starts with the original question. Why do I want to know his name? What difference does it make? He should just say the Moshe has come, the God of your forefathers, to take you out, and that's it. What's the difference what his name is? It's like irrelevant, So what we're trying to do is fit. So we're trying hypothetically to figure out what's the discussion, and the discussion should be what's called coherent. It should make sense throughout. So I said originally it's maybe what they want to know. They want to know his name because they want to know his actions of being a goyal. What's it based on? What's it based on? So they want to be reassured that any kind of tzara he'll always be there for. So the next question is so therefore I will be with you as an answer that it doesn't make a difference whether it's din or not. I'm there for you, and I'll always make sure that ultimately you'll be redeemed, no matter what. But that itself is nerve-wracking. Why? Because he's talking about future tsaros. Even though it's an answer, I will be with you always. So don't worry if it's din or not din. I'm always there for you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. But so on one side, it's comforting. On the other side, you got more stuff ahead. It's nerve-wracking.
So at the end of the day, what are you telling Klal Yisrael when he comes back?
So what Bonshim says, don't tell him that. That's what it says. So Bonshim says, look, let's not deal with, let's not deal with the future. Let's just deal. I'm taking you out now, and that's the main thing you want to know now. I don't want to get you excited now, and anxious for what the future is. I'm taking you out now, and that's the main thing you have to consider.
Why am I taking you out now?
What?
So he's telling them I'm taking you out for the chesed?
Maybe he didn't answer that. Why I'm taking you out? He just said, listen. Right now, the main concern is I'm taking you out of this terrible situation.
They had a question.
They had a question.
They have a question.
Yeah.
They want to have an answer.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the answer?
Well, the answer is. The answer
What
could be.
the
Do not be.
dramatic answer?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So I'm thinking out loud because is that they want to know. I'm assuming that that's their question. You know what I'm saying? There's another way I could have learned. You know, is that what they really want in a certain sense is, look, their situation is formidable. You have an idea what it is to take out a couple of million people from Egypt, which is the greatest nation on earth in those days. That's formidable, you know. So maybe their question was, can you do this? You know, you're saying, you know, although that's a little problematic, but let's just see how it flows. Can you do this? In the sense that, well, let's assume so. Let's say, can you do this? So if the Rosham says, I can, that would be the answer, right? So he would say, yeah. That would be the answer. I will be. So what that could be is that the question is, how do we know that the Rosham can do these things? How, really? We know he's a Kol Yochel, but what makes him a Kol Yochel? Because he says he's a Kol Yochel. You know what I'm saying? The Rosham is Hayipolim Hashem Dova by Avram Avinu, or Hayar Hashem Tiksa.
No, I mean, so it's not that. I mean, he set up certain system and he's acting within the system. He doesn't want to break the system every single time. So
no,
he follows certain rules,
you know,
voluntarily.
But the question is, can he take the Jews out of Egypt?
No, of course, he can do whatever he wants.
No. They want to be reassured that he can do it. You say you want to take us out of Egypt. It sounds great. But look, it's like Moshe Rabbeinu. Where do they get food for these people? By the slav. Remember the slav? The birds? You remember that? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, how can I feed all these people? What do you mean, how can he feed? He can't feed anybody. You know what I'm saying? But who's he referring to, really? Himself? Was he expected to drum up 4 billion, whatever they call those squabs, whatever the birds were, species wasn't so. He wasn't referring to himself. He can't do anything like that, you know. So obviously he means, where am I going to get this? Means where you can get this from. I mean, he can't be referring to himself. He has to be referring to the Barsham. Where are you going to do it? How are you able to do this? You know what I'm saying? So Barsham said, Hayal Hashem Tikso. Is my hand, what's wrong? My hand is too short? You think I can't reach? You know what I'm saying? So the question is, okay, but how do you do that? Why isn't your hand short? You have any idea what it is to feel?
He owns reality. I mean, he owns the whole reality.
So that's what I'm saying. Here's what you see. The reason why the bunch
and everybody knows it. It's poshut. I mean, there's no question. I mean, there's no how. I mean,
no. So yeah, that's
especially those generations. I mean, if we know it, I mean,
no. But you have to remember one thing, that you know, we don't know what Klal Yisrael believes in Mitzrayim. They're 210 years in slavery in Egypt. You know, where is the Rebbeinu Shalom? Maybe because he can't do it. What do people think when 210 years go by, right? There's a long time since they saw Gedolim in a certain sense, you know. What does a person think? You know, what's happening here? You know, a person has to have incredible emunah. What? A, that God will do it. B, can he do it? You know what I'm saying? If something went on for 210 years, and we're talking about real slavery, by Moros Chayem is the real McCoy.
But here Moshe Rabbeinu is talking.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm going back to the Iyun, the Jews in Egypt. You know, so what crosses their mind after 210 years of back-breaking slavery? You know, to build those pyramids. Actually, it wasn't the pyramids. It was after the pyramids. I mean, whatever it was terrible labor. You know, the Vayimoros Chayem. You know, so the question is, A, is God really going to take us out? We don't believe this. You know, there comes a point when a person has such sorrows that he doesn't believe a Geula can come. It's so many years. You know, think of it, a human experience. And number two, you know, can the Russian, you know, get a whole Ummah out of Egypt? You know what I'm saying? Like it's, you wonder, like, how can this happen? Because you look around, Teva is what blinds everybody. You know, the only way it works is you need guns and spears. You know, guns. You need spears and swords. You know. So what's the Moshe going to do? Fight with these guys on the ground? Yeah, people begin to doubt. In a certain sense, after so many years, we're not talking about 5 years of Golos. We're talking about 210 years of Golos under Avdus. That changes a person. So, in a certain sense, so therefore, let's see if it works. So, what they're really saying to him is, you know, is what's your name? I mean, how do we know that you can do this even? He's coming and saying, okay, the God of your fathers is here. He's going to take you guys out. Oh, really? How? So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu says. So that's what the Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the Basham. What am I going to tell them? How do I convince them that you could do it? So the Basham says, yeah, I am, or I will be. What do you mean will be? That's a verb to be. What the Basham is saying, my name is the verb to be.
Existence.
Existence. Hey, whatever I want. I can make anything exist because I am existence. I give existence to anything. So I can do whatever I want because I can give existence to anything. So that's why he's saying, he's answering, yeah, I am, or I will be, in the sense that, reality is part of me. I am not part of reality. And so on. So therefore, I have the yichaylis to do whatever I want.
And what's the second? The double?
Oh, so let's follow that. So let's assume that was their question. You know. So he said, yeah. You know. So so then you can make sense. So then the Moshe said, I can do it. I can do it now, and I can do it any other tzaras that they will go through. So then Moshe Rabbeinu says, wait a minute. All you have to do is says, I am, and I can do it here. You want to tell them, I am, and if I can do any other tzaras? No. Let's not worry them that they have to rely on you again to take them out of another tzaras, that there will be other tzaras. So it's sufficient just to say, I can do it, because I am. I am existence itself. You know. So that's what the Banshim says. And therefore, just like I can take them out of Egypt, I can take them out of every single tzara they will ever have. So Moshe Rabbeinu titled, you don't want to tell them this, that you can take them out of any other tzaras, because that means there can be more tzaras up ahead, and you'll also take them out. Why make them more anxious? See, that fits quite well. What Moshe Rabbeinu says. So then the Moshe says, no, just tell them, yeah, I am. I could take you out because reality is part of me, not I am part of reality. I create. I give existence to whatever I want. Therefore, how can anybody define me?
Moshe Rabbeinu knew that.
No, it wasn't what he knew. It was what Klal Yisrael knew.
I mean, he could tell them a piece of Hashkof. I mean, something that he knew. I mean,
Well, that's what he did. Yeah.
But what's the reason to ask Hashem about it?
What?
He's asking for some basic Hashkof, basically.
No, he's saying, what should I tell the Yidden? How should I respond to them? That you can take them out. So he said, tell them that I am being. I am being in and of itself. So then the Moshe says, yeah, I am being now, and therefore I can do it, and I can do it also anytime in the future. So the Moshe says, well, if you tell them that, then they're going to know that there's going to be more tzaros up ahead. So why worry them again?
But the flow sounds a little suspicious.
The who?
It sounds a little fishy. Because
What?
he's saying, Hashem is saying, I'll take you from this tzara, no problem, and I'll
Yeah.
take you from any future tzara.
Yeah.
Take you
Because
out.
I can.
I'll take you out.
Because I
no,
can.
but to begin with, the tzara is also coming from him.
The who?
The tzara is also coming from him. I mean, he's doing tzara to begin with. Who's doing tzara? I mean,
The who? Tzara?
the goals coming from him too. Not just take Geula coming from him.
Yeah.
Goals also coming
Okay.
from him.
Yeah.
So he placed them into the goals, and then he's taken out. So he's saying, I'll be able to take you out. I mean, he's putting them in goals. Of course he can take out.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes you put them in Golas, when you put them in a foreign country where they're persecuting you, maybe you can't take them out. It's true you sent us there, but maybe you can't get us out after that. So the dialogue would fit well if that was the original question. But it can't be because they want to know his name, and what was that supposed to mean? Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. After 210 years, they just did not believe ultimately that the Bosham can do it, you know. Oh, like how do you do that, you know? Look, you see that. You see the Bosham is always, like I said, Hayipolim Hashem Dova. Is it too hard for me? Or by sorrow, you know, she's going to give birth. How's that possible? You know what I'm saying? Because I give existence to whatever I want. Or Hayad Hashem Tikso. It's my hand. I can create the slav right there and then. I don't have to bring it from anywhere. I can just create the whole thing right out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You find that the Hashem has to make that statement. That where's the other classic where he says? In Hazinu, Ani Achayev, Ani Memes. I give life, I give death. V'ein mi yodi matzel. How's that possible? Is that because the Hashem is powerful? No. It's because the Hashem has to give existence to his opponent itself. So how can anybody oppose him? You know what I'm saying? You see that the Hashem addresses the question, from whence is his power? You know? So most people learn, Ani Achayim, Ami Memes, V'ein mi yodi matzel. And from my hand there's no rescuer. What would that mean, there's no rescuer? Because I'm more powerful than anybody else. So I can knock out my opponent. You know? But that's not what it means. The reason why Ein Miyodi Matzel, why there is no rescue of my hand, is because I need to give the opponent, right, its self-existence. How is he going to oppose me? His ability to oppose me in the first place, I grant him.
Sounds like a joke.
It's who?
No, it sounds like a joke. I mean, the idea of opposing Hashem. Because he gives existence, he gives koyach, he gives everything. I mean, like,
he creates, he enables a person to even oppose him in the first place by giving him existence, and that existence means that person can oppose him. So Hashem doesn't have to overcome this guy. He just takes away the existence, and the guy doesn't exist altogether. That's what, you know what I'm saying? But you find that Hashem has to make that statement. Why? Because people have to hear it. They have to hear that the nature of the koyach of Hashem is not because he's stronger or he knows more. He's existence. And therefore he grants existence to whatever he wants. And whatever he doesn't want, that's what it means, ein koyach acher. Not because the Hashem is stronger, because there is no koyach acher at all. He has to create the koyach acher to oppose him in the first place. You know, so Hashem doesn't have problems with this. Hashem makes those kind of statements all the time to illustrate his incredible shlita over everything, you see. So maybe that's what they're asking. And it would make sense because he is stuck answering, you know, I will be, because I am. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, well, don't mention the second one, just the, so Hashem says, yes, that's what I meant. Eheyeh shalachani, the first eheyeh, yeah. But I will be because I am being, therefore I can do this. You know? And I think it's quite natural for somebody to be in slavery for 210 years to have that kind of question. Because you wonder, like, what's going on here? You know, you begin to doubt. Maybe the Hashem can't take us out.
Yeah, today the whole humankind is down. Now they have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Obviously, then also.
Yeah, maybe he can't. Maybe they think maybe he can't do it. And that's why he hasn't done it for 210 years. You know what I'm saying? You have to remember, they were Memter Shai Tumah. And we're not looking here at tzaddikim. We're looking at people that want Memter Shai Tumah. That's a long way off from being tzaddikim.
Is it below than us or higher than us?
Memtesh?
I don't know, where are we?
We're probably in Nun.
I've heard.
I think we beat them already.
I think I've heard.
What?
That we are in Nun, but it's not as bad because we have Torah, so it's not as. We still have
Whatever Nun is, you know. Nobody ever describe what does it mean to be.
No, but officially we're in Nun, yeah? Officially,
No,
I mean.
I don't think so. No, that's because in Nun itself there are dagas. So we could be in the lowest of the Memtes, you know. You they entered Memtes. We're like, we're about to exit Memtes.
So that generation was that low. So basically, you came out like us because after so many generations, I would think that we
Ask yourself, the Malachim by the Kriyas they said, Halal of the Kachom, Halal of the Kachom. These worship idols, these worship idols. What are you going to get from idol worshippers? It says clear that they worshipped idols. In fact, and therefore the whole question was, why should the Malachim were timing? Why are you saving the Jews and destroying the Egyptians? They're just the same thing. What do you see from here? They were a tremendous, terrible madrega.
But you see by the Zima that the women were still snuim to an incredible degree.
Okay, fine.
You see certain schusim that they excelled.
Yeah, okay, so Arabs are also snuim. So therefore what? They just had, but clearly the Yidden are identified as Memtesh Shar Toma, and as the Oivod of Avodah Zarah. They worship idols. And when you worship idols, what's a general consensus about idols? They're not all powerful. They're supreme. They're superior. But people who worship idols do not see them as all powerful. Most people who worship idols see them as supreme beings with human characteristics. They get angry. They get mad. You take a look at the...
One is stronger than the other.
One is stronger than the other. He beat him up, he threw him out.
Even in the...
you take a look at Greek mythology,
That's already Greek. What about earlier the Hindus?
It's not a Greek, the whole world was but I'm just saying, you look at their view of those, the beings that they call gods, Jupiter, or Zeus, whatever, all these guys.
That's totally crazy.
All these guys, what?
That's totally crazy.
Yeah, because
That's a soap opera.
if you would have been living in those times, that the whole world was into Greek mythology, and then the Romans took it over. So you had the Greek gods battling each other. You know what I'm saying? They're battling each other. They had all kinds of tivus, and they threw them out.
Who produced it? Who wrote the screenplay?
I know somebody had an incredibly inventive mind.
Some good storyteller.
What about the
what's
earlier
interesting?
religions?
What's interesting is that, which is interesting. I'm trying to bring a proof to this. Is that when you over Avodah Zarah, people's idea of Avodah Zarah of a god is not that he's omnipotent, because you find that in the religions that have other gods, their gods are not omnipotent.
Yeah, nobody claims that. Nobody ever claimed it.
Yeah. It was their gods are tremendously powerful. That's true, but they're not omnipotent. So therefore, that would have been a legitimate question to these Jews. How do we know you can do it? Because we're over Avodah Zarah, which means they worshipped other gods. They don't see them as omnipotent. So here comes God. How do we know you can do it? You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to point out it's very logical for that to have been their question, and so on, and therefore Moshe Rabbeinu and for the Moshe to have answered that I am omnipotent, not merely superior. It's a big difference, and that's what all these things. It means that I am omnipotent. I can do anything I want. There is no opposition. I have no limitations. The Moshe says I have no limitations. I have no deficiencies at all. And therefore, obviously, they needed that. So that's what that's what they meant. What do they call you? It means, what do you mean what they call you? Because they worship many gods. So what's your name? Egypt, Egypt had a whole pantheon of gods. Many gods in Egypt. It was Yedua. The gods of Egypt. The main guy was Ra, Amun-Ra. That was the main guy.
Is there correlation with?
What?
Is there correlation with the Reish Ayin?
Yeah, Ra.
Or just a coincidence?
Amun, I think Amun in Aramaic means master. Uman. Amun-Ra means the master of evil, which is the Satan.
Oh, so it's not coincidence. That's what
Yeah, they worship that god as a sun god. But the sun god went out at night. I mean, you know, I'm saying Avodah Zarah is not a belief in omnipotence. It is a belief in supremacy, but not omnipotence. Therefore, they can easily, when they said, "What's his name?" what they're really saying is, "Which one are you? Who are you? Which one? Are you Ra? Are you Anubis, cat god? It's all these crazy gods.
Cool
You know,
names.
which one are you? You know, maybe
Cool names.
you know what?
They had interesting names.
Yeah. Well, there are many. Egypt had tremendous amount of
Mention,
gods.
So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu meant, meaning that he said the Jews forgot already the idea of omnipotence. It's beyond them already, so I have to tell them something else. So what should I tell them?
Well,
But that was the
also,
answer.
well, there's two answers to that. One is that I am means I am
Means
omnipotent.
remind them about omnipotence. That's what Hashem is saying.
Yeah. And the second thing is that not only am I omnipotent, but I'm the only God. I'm existence. There's only one thing that's called existence. So that would have answered both things. Because Moshe Rabbeinu would have been asking a question as a representative of the people. They're going to ask me, what's your name? They're going to ask me, not me. I'm not asking you. So I have to tell them something. You know, so obviously, what do you mean they're going to ask you, what's your name? They're going to ask you, well, who are you? Which one? Of the Egyptian group of gods, who are you? You know? And the second thing is, can you pull it off? Because we don't believe God's going to pull this kind of thing off.
So why was Paro called out on asking when he like?
I mean, look, think about it. Paro, they thought was a god. Pharaoh is a god.
So when Paro
And they
couldn't
clearly,
find,
everybody knew he's limited.
also he's asking a question: if Paro couldn't find,
It says Paro
What do you mean he couldn't
asked
find
me
it?
Hashem. When they say
Yeah,
that
who is-
Hashem was like looking through a graveyard for a live person. So that Paro was called out on asking me Hashem because what are you?
It's not in the
what are you
book, it's
trying
not
to-
in the book.
It's not in the encyclopedia.
I mean, the God,
And yet
your
the
God
Jews-
is listed anywhere.
right? What is
And
what
yet
does
the
it mean?
Jews were not called out on asking the same question essentially.
Saying it?
Paro, the Medrash says that Paro, it says me Hashem,
Yeah.
and it says Paro was looking for a live person in the cemetery. And
A
I don't,
who?
I'm paraphrasing.
A
I'm
what?
The Medrash, either it's a Medrash or help me out here. It says
The what? What's it say?
that it says that Paro was called out.
Called out by
he
who?
was foolish. He was foolish in that he was looking for a living God, as looking in a reference of Avodah Zarah. It's like a person who's
Yeah.
looking for a live person in a graveyard.
A live person in the graveyard.
So I think that's the Medrash. So anyway, the point is that Paro was called out as being foolish for asking such a question, whereas the Jews were not.
But what was the whole thing that he couldn't find Hashem in the list of gods? What does that mean in the context?
Yeah, but you have to remember one thing. First, Moshe Rabbeinu went to the Jews, then he went to Paro.
Understood.
And by the Jews already, it says Vayaminu, and they believed him. So
But
he
the
already
Paro
had
could
to-
ask a legitimate question too. He was part of a culture. He wasn't the first person to create the culture. So
Okay.
he was always also absorbed in the culture and didn't have any reference outside of the pantheon that he had.
So what you're
My
saying?
point is he asked a legitimate question,
Who asked?
Paro. Yes,
Yeah,
legitimate
because
question,
he-
Hashem.
Yeah, because his beliefs. were
And yet
that
he's
there's a
called out on
number
that
of-
question.
I don't know. I have to see the Medrash where he's called out. You're saying he's called out. I don't know. But for him, it made sense because Egypt had a whole series of gods that they worshipped. So he asked which one's him, you know, and so on. You know. When did they come to realization that God is not their gods? By Kinam. That's when they realized, because the Khatumim knew that they believed in many gods. So the Khatumim said the magicians, you know. So they figured that Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to one of the gods. That's all, which means that Moshe Rabbeinu is accessing power from one of the gods. But they knew that all the gods cannot have any influence over anything that's smaller than the size of a barley grain. There's no, it's the gods cannot have no control over something
Then
smaller
what
than a
created an
barley grain.
insect? Then what created an insect that's smaller?
I don't know. I'm not gonna answer their
Mishigas.
mishigas. Yeah. So when Moshe Rabbeinu, so until then they knew that they were magicians, and Moshe Rabbeinu was a magician. They figure he went to Harvard and they went to City College. You know, they went to City College, I mean, big deal. How big is the professor anyway, you know? He went to Harvard University, the top guys. His professor was a Nobel laureate in magic. So this guy really knows what he's doing. But when they saw that he could do kingdom, then they realized that no force on earth can do kingdom. There's no God that can do kingdom. So they realized that the God that he's accessing the power from is beyond comprehension. He's really, that is the real source of the power. And that's why they said, Etzba Kimhi. It is the finger of God. They realize that whoever he's getting his power from is not the same as there. It's a whole different, ball game, whatever, and so on. And so on. But anyway, so that's how you can learn this, you know.
Can we do next? Can we do next, please? I mean, it just goes so well.
This is like, just...
It goes so well. So I mean, we're already there. About Eliyahu, the thing with Eliyahu.
Oh yeah, so the Gemara says there, and why he said Anani twice?
Strange.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eliyahu realized, obviously, that in order to be successful, you need two things. One is that God should display truly who He is by burning up all the Homizbeach, everything. But the problem is that they will have an excuse. They say, no, there's no proof He's God. You know, they'll come up with someone. They'll say it's Ma'aseh Shofim. The problem is, even if you pull it off, it's not going to convince them, because they will say it's kishuf, and they are shofim. They'll just say, I'm a magician. That's all. So what have you accomplished? So what? Eliyahu knew that, and that's the truth. Is that's what many people do. The Nisim of Egypt. There are many people who have secularized it.
Yeah, I read an article.
Oh, there's a whole movement for that. They have secularized the Makkas. They said, nah, it's not bad. The river turned blood, maybe because some dye, and then the dye killed the frogs. That's all jumping out of the river. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, obviously, if you had dead frogs all over the place, obviously the next thing that's coming is lice, because lice love dead frogs. And once you have lice, then also, they destroy everything, and all of a sudden here come the animals. They have secularized and.
No, but how can they ask Hashem? How can they daven to
so
Hashem
you
for
need
that?
two nisim here. What?
No, but how can he daven to Hashem for that? These guys have bechira. Hashem cannot just influence their bechira. Say, okay, no problem. You believe in me. That's this point of bechira.
Why? No. Why can't he interfere with bechira? He does it all the time.
It's not derech. I mean,
Sure he does.
These are Iyun. These are Iyun. I mean, they have to boicha.
The Rebbeinu Shem will many times take away bechira. He did it by Parai. Took away his bechira.
So Eliyahu asked to take away their bechira.
Exactly, of course. Or else the whole thing is pointless. Even if you...
The bechira, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't believe him. The bechira.
It's not that. They will attribute his ability to kishuf, not because there is a real God.
So he knew bechira. He had to ask Hashem.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Tasiach. You have to take away their das. They won't think of this, or else the whole thing. And what was he trying to do? He's trying to convince Klal Yisrael. He's trying to convince Klal Yisrael that there's a God. So all of a sudden, if these guys screaming out, he's nothing other than a great magician. That's the end of it. The Jews won't believe him. That's the end of it. So the Moshe had to interfere with everybody's bechira, not only these guys, Baal, but all the Jews that they shouldn't think about it, and say, what's the big deal? There's no God here. It's all magic anyway. Why is that?
So he says, Hashem, please make them from. That's what he's saying, basically.
Why would a person think that it's kishuf instead of the Baruch?
No, it's natural. I mean, he's the guy's fried, so obviously he doesn't think about Hashem. But I'm asking Hashem, please make this guy from. I mean, that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's worse. Nobody wants to believe in God. God is an interference in the way you live. Why would anybody want to believe that there's a being that subjects you to specific mitzvahs. No, but that's why do you think? Why do you think that? Why do you think they had to come up with a theory called evolution? Because Nebuch, without evolution, how is everybody going to be a kafir? It's rachmanis on them, you know. So they had to come up with an evolutionary idea. What's his name? Darwin. And because of Darwin, now they can fool themselves.
Before that, in evolution, they had the Avodah Zarah. Now the Avodah Zarah died out.
Before that, they had to believe in a God. Men, there are no atheists before science. No such thing as atheism before science. Everybody had a religion. It's Avodah Zarah, right? But Babylon, Greek, Rome, they all had religions, gods, Avodah Zarah. There's no such thing as an atheist. Atheism is a modern day phenomenon.
But for us, it's so natural. I mean, for this generation, it's very strange. I mean, the people who don't, people don't think religion's all together. It's very strange for them. Religion was more
Because
natural.
evolution has provided a teretz. Evolution has provided.
It's much better.
Even then, supposedly.
People need evolution. They need Darwin more than Darwin needs them. Because like this, they can deny the existence of God. Without evolution, how do you can deny it? They got big problems. So they have other ways of fiddling around. There are many gods, so therefore I can do what I want because one god is going to fight the other god. And there's all kinds of. I once gave a whole share on that. The 10 different strategies of mankind and so on. It's a whole share I once gave. Remember that? And so on. But a person, what the bunch, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was saying, Nasa Odom Kitzalmeinu, let us make man. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, what are you doing? If you write Nasa Odom, then everybody's going to say there are many gods. It's Mamash Avodah Zarah. Let us make man. Who's the us? Many gods. That's Avodah Zarah. So the Bansham said, so there's a reason why, but the Bansham said, I have to write what's MS, but I will write on the side clearly a statement that shows it's not. So then it says, and God, singular, created Adam. But people always need a pretext. They need a way out, So Iyun knew that. He said, people don't want to believe in God, even if they're staring it in the face. They don't want to believe that, because if you believe in God, that means you have to ask yourself, well, why did he make me? And if you come up with the reason he made me, because I have a specific purpose, and that purpose is you're going to take all the joy out of life, right? I can't do anything. I have to eat kosher food. Come on. So it's terrible, I can't do the taivas, because, who wants Kedusha? Avda behefkera nichalei. The Gemara says, Avda behefkera. A slave in his hefkeres is wanton behavior. Nichale is happy with this. He can do whatever he wants, So that's the same idea. So that Iyun knew that. He knew it's human nature to deny and rationalize that this is not from God. They will secularize and give an alternate explanation, and so on. And evolution is something that saved mankind from believing God.
But still, it's a unique episode because I don't remember anywhere else where Novi or some Godel he would ask Hashem, please take away Behir, those guys made them fum. It sounds like Moshe Rabbeinu never did that. He dealt with cholesterol. He never told Hashem.
But Hashem did that to Parah. He took away his Bechira.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for Yidden, nobody ever asked Hashem to take Bechira of Yidden. This is a pretty unique case.
Do you have any idea how momentous this occasion was? Yeah, the whole Klal Yisrael worshipping Baal, right? And finally, this was the grand test. Millions of people were at that Har Carmel. This was like, you can't imagine what kind of moment that was, You know what I'm saying? And Iyun knew what was going to happen. You cannot convince these people, because they're all going to say, that's really not. It's that you're a Kishav guy, and so on and so forth. So therefore, in order for this test to be true, in order to save the Jews, he had to take with the Bechir of the Baal, and also the Jews, because any one of the Jews could have said, come on, we know what you're doing, it's called Kishav. Yeah, it's nothing to do with God. It's really Baal, but really you know more Kishav than Baal, which is
isn't there any
pretty
test?
unique. But that's
isn't
what
there
they
any
would have
proof
said.
that Hashem could have done?
What?
Isn't there any proof that Hashem could have done that they wouldn't have said Kishuv?
No, you can
Anything
attribute.
supernatural, they could just assume Kishuv.
You know,
not
it's the
possible.
old story. Even if it hangs on a hair, they'll grab the hair before they grab the emes. All you need is, it was called et vas. Just a mashu pretext, and it's over with. Because people are desperate not to believe in the Barsham. People are desperate for that. They don't want to believe in the Barsham. Because once you believe in God, then your subject is
Responsibility.
irresponsibility. You gotta clean up your act. Nobody wants to do that. You see.
Olam is a kadmon. It's not evolution.
Who?
The Musik, the Olam is a kadmon.
Who's the item?
Olam, the world is kadmon.
I don't know what you mean. What am I, Kadmon?
Kadmon, that was here forever.
This world wasn't here forever.
No,
Yeah.
they're trying to speak about that there was a mahalach by the Goyim to think that the world is a kadmon.
Yeah, Aristotle said.
Right.
Aristotle said that the world always was because God always is, so therefore the world always existed. That's what he says.
It's
What?
not similar to evolution, no?
No, these people believe that the world always existed. It wasn't created.
Evolution, to a certain extent, is also the world. It's not in the form that it's today, but there's always forces and there's things that they just explode.
Well, so that's the question. Did the world exist eternally? Sure, even scientists felt that. Scientists only until a couple of years ago, until they proved the Big Bang, that the universe had a beginning. They all felt there was the concept of steady state theory, that the universe always existed. It had no beginning.
But they're saying now that this universe began, but in the multiverse it was all
Yeah,
always
okay,
was.
yeah, because yeah.
Big Bang also came from somewhere. As
Well, they didn't
saying.
believe it was a
Yeah.
machlokes in science until they
Well,
got
Yesh
proved. What? Yeah, they didn't believe Yesh Ma'ayin.
They still don't.
That's it.
Who, scientists?
But now with the multiverse and different dimensions and everything, and string theory, they
Yeah, but
say that
this,
the string is basically two things came together and a whole bunch of energy came out.
no, but where did that come from?
So from outside, but they did in
What's
the
the
multiverse.
outside?
Another universe smashed into ours, basically.
No, but then where did that universe come from?
Okay, but they hold this business. This has been going
So
on.
therefore, that
forever.
also had a big bang. Everything had a
Right.
big bang. It's
That's basically saying that the world was a kadmon, no? It wasn't always in the state it is now, but it was always
yeah, okay.
different. It's not Darwin wasn't the machadish of the whole idea.
No, anyway,
Darwinism.
No, this is,
you know,
Huh?
anyway, his theory doesn't make sense into that. His theory makes it. I can't believe how anybody can believe that nonsense. You know why? you know, I always illustrate it with this story. Remember this story? It was out west, and they were playing a poker game out west. There's a story, and it's not real, but it illustrates. You know, and they put out I thought you remember the story? It's a great story. They were out west, and they were playing poker, you know. So there was a big pot of money in them, you know, whoever wins takes all the money. So one guy says, okay, he puts down his hand, and it was called a straight. I don't even know what a straight is, but I think it's 5, 6, 7, 8 or something like that. A series of whatever, clubs or whatever, you know. So he puts it down, he said, okay. He's about to take the money, and one guy stands up and says, hey, where you going? So what do you mean where I'm going? I have a straight. You know how hard it is to get a straight? Or a sequence of the numbers, whatever? I'm not sure. Maybe it's also the same suite. It's all clubs, or all hearts and diamonds, whatever. Then he's the other guy says, what are you doing? He says, what do you mean? I have a straight. Nobody's going to beat a straight. So he puts his cards down, and it's a royal flush. Royal flush, I think, is, what is it, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. It's higher, you know? What was that? I don't know, you know. So the guy, so all of a sudden, and that you can't beat that. That's the top, you know. So the guy who had the straight jumps up and says, "You're no good cheater," you know. Pulls out his gun and he shoots the guy, kills him. So the other guy sitting around the table, they didn't bother him that he killed him. You know, you cheated cards, you're dead, you know. But they said to him, "How do you know he cheated? I mean, what, are you going to kill the guy?" So if he cheated, Taka is the mechuyev misa. But how do you know he cheated? Good kasha. So he said because the probability that in the same hand, one guy has a straight and the other guy has a red flush is a 1 followed by 40 zeros. Now you have no idea what a 1 followed by 40 zeros is. There's no such number in the Bria. And so on. So the shayla is this. Was this the one time in the 1 followed by 40 zeros taka that it happened? And therefore he didn't cheat? Or can we reasonably assume that he taka cheated?
And he's chayav.
He's chayav misa, yeah. So what do you see the probabilities? It's, if you take a look at the human body, it is absolutely awesome. It's just beyond belief. The intricacies. The human brain has 100 billion cells, and it only weighs 3.5 pounds. You believe this? It's the greatest mechanism in the Bria, the human brain. It could think, imagine, create. It's just beyond belief. And it's only 3.5 pounds, and it's got 100 billion neurons. You know what the probability of that is? It says that the probability of making one insulin molecule, which is a very complex molecule, is a 1 followed by 80 zeros. That number is beyond, and the probability of the human being formed out of chance, because that's what probability is, chance, is a 1 followed by 1 and 1/2, 1.5 million zeros. That's of a human being. And then when you feel that scientists say there are at least 10,000, 10 million, some people hold 100 million species of life forms. You know how complicated an ant is, or a tree? I mean, it's beyond, they can't even figure these things out. The DNA molecule, 3 billion pairs. It's beyond belief. You're going to tell me this came through probability, chance? That's what Darwin is. He's crazy. But they'll grab onto anything to deny God. Anything. That's what they do. You see. So evolution is very important for apikosim. Because how could you never be an apikoros? You have a very hard time. If you're honest, that is, And people just don't think that. People are so interested in dismissing God from their lives that they will grab onto anything in order to deny the existence of God, and which is inconceivable and so on. That's ultimately what Elio, and he knew. He said, look, even if you come down and you destroy, the Mashiach with fire, lightning, and all that stuff, fine. But that's not going to solve the problem because they'll deny it. They'll just say anything. You're a kishuf macher, that's all. So of course you brought it down from the sky. You know kishuf, we don't know kishuf, big deal. That's the end of the whole, ability to take the Yidden and change their munah. Shreklach. All over the Zohar. You can imagine?
Can I just be medayik maybe in what he said?
Yeah,
the way
sure.
it was that he said that daitam, that they shouldn't say. It wasn't really changing their minds. It was sort of making them focused on the extraordinary event. So even if later they started having doubts, they'll say no, but that was an extraordinary event, and I can't start asking shilas now on that incredible experience that I had. They had experience. Now the Bechira kicks in, but it sounds like right now it's a hesach hadas that I want them to be focused on the experience.
Well, distract them. You need to distract them so they won't think about this.
B'shas Maisa.
Well, that's exactly when they would
right,
have
but
it, sure.
Later on, he wasn't playing around with the Bechira. He's just saying, make them focus on the event right now. Afterwards, they'll have Bechira, but they'll just remember an extraordinary event that they had. They were so focused on an extraordinary event that it'll override any Bechira that they'll have later on. Meaning,
okay.
He's not actually playing with the Bechira, just making them focused on the awesome event.
Well, in whatever it is, in some ways, distracting them.
The answer that he wasn't playing around with the Bechira per se. He was just making them focus on the awesomeness of the event.
Yeah, I mean, what the pasuk seems to say is that distract them so they won't think about this. It won't.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it wasn't a
theoretically, it doesn't have to be that he interfered with the Bechira. He just and somehow just didn't think about it. You know, why didn't I think about this? He didn't. So he stopped them from thinking about a thought that most people would have thought about.
He gave him Bechira, B'davka.
Yeah, so they had Bechira. It wasn't it wasn't a question of Bechira, free will. You know, he didn't take away their free will that they had to believe Elio. He just did not allow any other thought into their mind. He stopped the mind from thinking another thought.
That's what it means to take away Bechira. If I don't think about Avera, so obviously I don't think, I don't do Avera. Because I don't
No. They never thought about it in the first place. He just said he stopped them from thinking about it. They still have Bechira to do whatever they want. They just didn't think about that. And that was necessary. That's necessary, and so on, because mankind does not want to do that. Okay, so we learned two Gemaras here. There's a lot of hashkaf in this.
When Rabbi say that nowadays there's a further diminishment from, they went through the whole pantheon, whatever it is, and nowadays they're mamish turning Avodah Zarahs. And now there's a musik of superheroes. Where it's no longer about a superhero, Superman.
All those comic book characters.
My point is it's now a musik that there's nothing spiritual anymore. It's just some guy who happens to be stronger.
It's magic.
No, my take is not that.
Not even magic.
My take is not that. The reason why everybody's so enamored of superheroes, you have all these superheroes, these comic books. It's ridiculous. It's because everybody wants to be God.
So they have
become.
They have
become. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, wow, I read Superman comics because I'm Superman. It's like
even emotional. It's not actual because they don't
identify with these super characters because really they want to be that. Sports figures are heroes. Because they want to be a sport, they want to be a hero, they want to be able to have the fame and the glory of a sports hero. It's the old story. Most people lead mundane lives, boring, difficult, nothing special lives.
So what's the Eitzah?
The Eitzah?
It's the MSA Eitzah.
I don't know, put on a Superman costume. No, I'm just saying most people lead boring lives. They want excitement. They want to believe. They want to believe in themselves. So they can identify with all those superheroes, and then they make all kinds of movies out of this stuff, because people want to believe and identify with these superheroes.
They don't believe in their own self-worth, and they don't feel that they're accomplishing anything worthwhile. So they want to accomplish through the guy on the screen.
Wow, look what he can do, They want to be. Most people dream of being a superhero. It's not that they want to face life and take life and be a superhero by being incredibly creative and productive and accomplishment, You know what I'm saying? They want instant glory. They want to be the superhero that saves mankind.
The only effort is to pay the $8 at the front door, right?
It's a pretty cheap way of getting it. Yeah, it's rather inexpensive way of feeling good about yourself. Or else, why would these movies be so popular? Why would these kind of, superhero kind of stuff be so popular? Because I believe that most people want to be God.
Real good movies, they're not popular at all. Nobody knows what their names are.
But this stuff, everybody wants to be a divine being. And so on. Listen, how do you think Superman got so?
Because Lamar said, everything we do, all the mitzvahs and everything, is really to get us back to attached or have a shaykhs to our inner divine being in the end. Isn't that really the case?
Well, yeah.
So that's the emissary way to do it. That's we really are divine beings.
Yeah.
We're trying to attain that through. These people are trying to attain that through false methods.
That's coming from
you are supposed to
Yeah,
aspire to that just through the MS as opposed to.
That's right. Yeah, but people don't. They want the easy way out, the shortcut, instant coffee. They want to be an instant hero. They don't want to work for this and labor amelis. They want the now. Give it to me now. Everything is instant today. Look, it's a door where. Look, let's face it. In the old days, I remember, there used to be philosophers, and people used to read philosophy books. And even whether they're true or not, but you had a Harvard to read a philosophy book. Today, everybody sits in front of the internet. Everybody is passive. Nobody thinks anymore. It's either the internet or shows or movies or TV, whatever it is. People don't use their mind anymore. It's all passive information where you just sit and you absorb what's in front of you. But they don't use their mind to create, to struggle with concepts and ideas, and so on. We live in a different generation even than 25, 30 years ago. People are much more. We live in a generation where everybody wants it handed to me on a silver platter. I don't want to work for this, so on. It's a difficult generation, you'd say. Okay, so we got some Gemara in.
So next time around.
Oh, so this is it. I'll be going there as well.
Just Motzei Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos will have some.
Motzei Shabbos, yeah, Purim Shir.
What?
Oh,
Next
we're
Motzei
having Motzei Shabbos.
This week?
Yeah, guys asked me for a Purim Shir.
I didn't have to put in the effort.
That's because so I won't be back until after Purim. I go to Eretz Yisrael, so.
The Rebbe told me last night that Rebbe wouldn't be here. That last
I
night
know,
was
but then
last
a couple
year,
of guys cornered me. And it's
So next year is going to be Purim and then on Pesach next one.
well, when I come back, yeah.
After a couple of months to prepare for Pesach. Sure.
Yeah.
Also good. So must